Today in our 2010 BMW X3, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt powered taillight converter with a 4-pole flat trailer connector. So here's what our wiring is going to look like once we have it installed. It is designed to stay on the inside of the vehicle until we're ready to use it. And it is going to provide us the 4-pole flat trailer connector, so we have all the required lights to get down the road safely. And whenever we're not using it, we can store our wire in the back hatch area here over by the driver's side. And just bundle it up, and it'll store neatly right in this cargo net. The only one thing to keep in mind is when you do go to use it, you can drop it just about anywhere out of the hatch, so long as you stay away from the latch mechanism itself. That will damage the wire, but the weather stripping here is thick enough and provides enough cushion where it's not going to damage it. Our wiring harness has a powered taillight converter, and what that's going to do is it's going to take the signal from our BMW and turn it into a working signal so we can use it for our trailer. But it's also going to help protect our BMW's wiring. In case there were any problems like a surge or backfeeding from our trailer, it's going to make sure that it doesn't damage our BMW. To begin our installation, we're going to open up the rear hatch, and we want to remove the floor covering here in the center. So we'll pull it out and we can set it aside. So on either side, we're going to have this trim piece that we're going to have to take out so we can access the wires for our tail light. You're going to want to come to the top, push down, and pull out, and I'll release that clip up here. Then we pull the rest of the panel out. We're going to do that for both sides. Then we'll have that liner that's going to be right here. We want to pull that away so we can get access to the taillight wires. So we'll just fold it out of the way for now. And you can see we'll have this bundle of wires here that's going to go directly into our taillight. We're going to need to test each one of these wires to figure out what the functions are. So we're going to go ahead and turn our headlights on and isolate that function. So it looks like our taillight signal wire is going to be this grayish purple wire with a purple tracer on it. Now we're going to turn our taillights off, and we're going to turn our left turn signal on and see which one of the wires is for that. We found that the green wire with the blue tracer is going to be our left turn signal. Now we'll turn our turn signal off. We'll get an extra set of hands and have them press on the brake and see which one of our wires is going to be our brake signal. And our brake wire on the left side is going to be the black wire with the green tracer on it. Now we need to test the right turn signal, but that's the only one we're going to need to test on the right side. And on the right side, our turn signal wire is going to be the blue wire with the brown tracer. We can grab some of our quick splices from our kit and start making our connections now that we have everything tested. If you look at our quick splice, we're going to have two channels. One of them is going to go all the way through, and one of them is going to be blocked off. We're going to slide our factory wire so that it goes all the way through, and we can take the wire from our harness and we'll slide it into the other open end, and we're going to crimp down on that metal piece and we can close it up. So we'll start with our taillight function. So we'll take the purple gray colored wire with the purple tracer, and we'll take our brown wire from our harness, we'll slide it into the other channel. You want to grab a pair of pliers, and we'll squeeze that tab till it compresses all the way down. And then we're going to take our cover, and we'll just go right over the top. Now we're going to continue connecting the rest of the wires for each function. Move to our turn signal on the left hand side, and if you remember, it's going to be that blue wire with the green stripe on it. Then finally we're going to hook up our brake signal wire, and we'll use the red wire coming off of our harness to hook into that. Now we're going to have a couple more wires coming out of our harness. We'll have a black wire, a white wire with the ring terminal, and a green wire. Right now we're going to focus on our black wire. This is going to be where we're getting our power from. So I'm going to take one of the butt connectors that they give us in our kit, slide it over the end of the black wire. I'm going to crimp it in place. Then we can take the length of 12 gauge wire they give us in our kit. We'll strip back the other end and put it into our butt connector. Now our white wire, we have a couple different options of what we can do. We can take this included self-tapping screw and screw our ring terminal into a flat spot of sheet metal, or we can find a factory bolt and use it as our ground. Now if we come just to the outside, we'll have a bolt right here that is going into metal. So I'm going to take a 10mm socket, pull that bolt out, we'll slide the bolt through our ring terminal, and then we'll reinstall it. Our green wire is going to route over to the passenger side, and we're going to hook it up to the right turn signal the same way we did with all the other ones on the left. And our black wire, we're going to route it towards the center, right where our battery is. Now in order to get our green wire over to the passenger side and the black wire to the battery, what we did was we actually routed it underneath and behind the foam here. We just followed along the back of the threshold. There's some actually factory wires held in place down there. We just used a few zip ties to put them in place. Went behind all of this and we attached our green wire to our turn signal. Then with our power wire, we brought it over with the green wire and went underneath this panel following the wires, and we brought it over to the inside of the battery compartment. So we'll bring our black wire over to the positive post in our battery. We'll remove the cover. We're going to estimate about how much wire we're going to need, and we can trim off the excess. We'll strip back the end of our wire. We're going to grab another one of our butt connectors from our kit. We'll crimp it in place. On the other end of our butt connector, we're going to grab our fuse holder. This is already going to be pre-stripped, so you just want to pull the ends off. Slide our wire into the fuse holder and crimp it down. We're going to grab one of the large ring terminals out of our kit, slide our wire over and crimp it in place so we can make the connection at the battery. So we'll grab a 13mm socket. We're going to remove the nut that's on the positive post. Slide our ring terminal over and replace the nut. Then we can take our 15-amp fuse, put it into the fuse holder, and we'll put our cover back in place. Now one last thing we need to do is to mount our converter box. We're going to actually mount ours on the bottom here, right by our DVD navigation system. So I'm going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol, I'm going to clean the box off, as well as the spot that I'm going to be mounting it at. We can take the double-sided tape that they give us in our kit, take the backing off one side, we'll press it directly onto the converter box, and we'll take the backing off the other side, and we'll stick it directly to the bottom of that platform. With everything hooked up, we can put all of the panels back in place and tidy up any wires that we may need. The final step of our installation is to make sure that our wiring is working properly. So I plugged in my 4-pole tester here, and if you need one, you can pick one up here at Etrailer.com. But I'll go ahead and turn my taillights on. We can see that that function's working properly, as well as my left turn signal, my right turn signal, and my brakes. That'll finish up your look at the Curt power taillight converter with 4-pole flat trailer connector on our 2010 BMW X3.